So yeah, I remember the first time I hovered the Lynx, and I've seen it subsequently with all the students that I've taught over the years when they come from something like the Squirrel or Juno,
Yeah.
Jupiter, that kind of thing. They find it quite hard to hover initially because it's extremely sensitive and responsive on the controls. It's more like a high performance fixed wing aircraft in terms of its control response compared to other helicopters. So the tendency is for people to over control and have a very unsteady hover. It's not particularly difficult to hover, it's just trying to relax on the controls and trim the aircraft out and put it into a stable hover. And actually, once you've learned how to do that, the aircraft's extremely easy to hover, and you can have a very stable hover with it.
Brilliant stuff. And what are the aircraft's strengths and weaknesses?
For the Lynx, the aircraft strengths, speed is one of its strengths, and its agility. Really, it's very manoeuvrable, high control power. So for a maritime aircraft, landing on a pitching, heaving deck in a high sea state, you can respond to ship movement and all of that sort of stuff as you're landing onto the deck. The other thing about the maritime variant of the Lynx is that tricycle undercarriage with the big shock absorbing oleos, so it can take a very, very heavy vertical impact, much more so than most other helicopters. And generally when seas are rough, we aim to land quite firmly, so we plant the aircraft onto the deck and make it stick to the deck, so we've got reduce the risk of it sliding off after landing. And then the other thing that sort of makes it the potent maritime capability that it is, with in terms of just its ability to operate in poor weather, is the deck lock system.
Okay.
So that's a hydraulic sort of pincer that comes out at the bottom of the aircraft fuselage, and it's operated by the pilot with a button on the collective, and it just shoots into a metal grid on the flight deck, and then closes the pincers through the holes in the grid, and then pulls the helicopter down about an inch further down on it, compressing its undercarriage, and that just stops the aircraft from sliding off the deck if the ship turns or rolls, until the point at which we can put nylon lashings on the aircraft to secure it. The weaknesses, I guess, it's always been the weakness of the Lynx is really its fuel endurance. It's never really had more than 2 hours unless you put auxiliary tanks and stuff into it. So a 2-hour endurance, and in these sort of this day and age, commanders want persistence from their aircraft, so they want their aircraft to stay airborne for a considerable amount of time, and spend more time on task, which is why we see a lot of tasks being given to unmanned air systems now, because they've got a lot of persistence. They can stay airborne for a very, very long time.